You can play baseball. You can play tennis. You can even play football, but you can't play dance. Welcome to the Unrealistic Elephant Podcast.
Oh my god, I'm so excited. Welcome back to the Unrealistic Elephant Podcast, everybody. My name is Nathan.
And I am Ian.
And we are here again for this month's episode of the Unrealistic Elephant Podcast. We have two really interesting movies to talk about this month, and we usually watch movies that, for the last couple of episodes, have been fairly decent, just overall in quality. I think right now is the point where we start to delve into things that are a little weirder, a little stranger, and I would say a little bit more terrible, frankly. But yeah, so before we get into that, how have things been with you, Ian?
Well, I've been going through some medical stuff, let's just say, but other than that, I'm doing well.
Well, that's good. I'm getting laid off next month, so we're having lots of fun over here watching movies.
Yeah.
So while life passes,
good old time.
Yeah, while life passes us by. But yeah. Is there anything you want to say before we get started?
I guess which movie should we start with? Should it be my recommendation or yours?
I think that we should start with my recommendation. I think we should start with that. I think that's probably the best option.
All right, yeah.
All right, so for this episode, we're going to start off with my recommendation from last week, which was A Boy and His Dog. Now, I had never really heard of this movie until I was skimming through my usual streaming hellhole looking for something to watch when I found this shortly before we started recording our last episode, and I thought that this just looked like a very interesting concept, something a little bit more out there, and upon watching it, I realized that there's a lot here to be respected.
Mm-hmm.
I think the film itself is pretty good. I think that what it sort of birthed in terms of pop culture is probably a little bit more interesting than the film itself. But what did you think of this movie?
I would agree that I think it's pretty good. I wouldn't say it's one of the better movies we've talked about on the podcast so far, but it is a really solid one. There is a lot of stuff I liked about it. I guess if you guys haven't seen it, it's kind of like a science fiction comedy, sort of, like a post-apocalyptic thing. And talking about the influence, like there's a lot of movies and video games that were very much inspired by this concept. And this movie was, I guess, written by Harlan Ellison. Or no, Harlan Ellison wrote the short story that the movie was based off of.
Yeah, no, he wrote the novella. That was written in 1969 by Harlan Ellison, and it was adapted by L.Q. Jones, who I believe is an actor, first and foremost.
Yeah.
He was in a lot of westerns back in the day, but I'm not super familiar with his filmography. But I from what I believe, this is the only film that he really wrote and directed for, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right about that. I'm actually more familiar with Harlan Ellison because he wrote for Star Trek. So.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar with Harlan Ellison because he wrote "I Have No Mouth" and "I Must Scream," which is one of my favorite sci-fi stories of all time.
I haven't actually read that or whatever.
I'd highly recommend it. Or if you don't plan on reading a book, I would highly recommend the old PC game, because that also has a lot of it's also an amazing way to experience that story. He's a really talented writer, and you could really just tell that he pulls such out there and wild concepts whenever he's writing, because make no mistake, I'm sure that there has been movies like this before this, and stories like this before it was written, but it sort of set the groundwork for what this sort of, I don't even know what the aesthetic is. There's a lot of like post-apocalyptic movies, but not a lot of them were as dirty as this, I don't think. Like as filthy and like unhinged as this one is.
At least not at the time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because this is a desert movie, let's just say, and
Yeah.
which we've covered, I guess, two of already with The Hitcher and The Big Country. And yeah, with the desert, it's a great place to shoot because not only is it very cinematic, but you know, you can pretty much just shoot in the desert and it can be whatever time period you want. It can be the Old West, it can be the future, it can be the present, it can be whatever you want it to be. And it would totally make sense.
Yeah, it could be Dawn of Time, but it's really you could play it loose when you film somewhere like this. You have all this space, you have all of this area to build sets upon and build a world upon, because it's literally the flattest canvas that you could possibly imagine for someone filming a movie like this. But yeah, we should probably get into the plot of the movie. So basically, the movie starts in 2024. So we have this to look forward to in the next couple of months. So get ready for that. Um, we follow our main characters are Vic, who's I don't think he's a teenager. I think he's like a young adult.
Well, looking at the Wikipedia right now, it says he's 18.
18.
So he's
Okay.
both.
Yeah, and he is traveling around, scavenging, surviving in the post-nuclear war desert with his dog, Blood, who is telepathic and can speak with him. And I don't think they ever explained why that is. Like, do they ever actually go into that? I think it's just sort of a non-thing. We just supposed to assume
I don't think they really do. Actually, I have a few things to say about the things they didn't go into.
Yeah.
Albert.
Albert.
What the fuck was that?
I'm
sure that's
really
something
know.
that made sense if you read the original story, but if you don't know what we're talking about, if you haven't seen the movie, and spoiler discussion, of course, like always,
Yes.
but yeah, the dog just randomly calls him Albert at certain times for reasons that are not explained.
Yeah, it did. For the most part, I was watching this and I thought that his name was Albert for like the first like 15, 20 minutes of this movie, and I was like, okay, well, what is the deal with that? But I guess it's just one of those things that's lost in translation or lost in adaptation, maybe, because they really don't go into that. A lot of things aren't really explained. Through the beginning of the movie, you sort of get an info dump from Blood in the form of some sort of rudimentary history lesson to Vic of like what happened. So back in like the 50s or 60s, there was World War III, which led to a whole bunch of political fallout, which then led to World War IV, which, by the way, what an amazing way to start a movie. World War IV was 20 years ago, and that's the first text you see on screen. I think, like, a full minute of just, like, mushroom clouds. It's like, okay, yeah, this is the kind of vibe we're going for. And I want to talk about these characters because it's very much one of these situations where there's not really a hero in this movie. We have two protagonists in Vic and Blood, but they're very terrible people. I think the first thing that Vic is trying
one's
to
a
do...
terrible person, the other's a terrible dog.
Yeah, I guess. But, yeah, Vic... The first thing I believe that we see Vic do in the whole story is beat somebody so he can go and rape a woman who is in a bunker, but then he finds out that she's dead already, so he can't do that. So at least he has standards there. But yeah, from what we understand, Vic doesn't have parents that ever taught him. He sort of just has no morals or ethics, and the world has basically gone completely crazy. Which, if you look at it, and I think I'm about to get into this, he calls him dog meat at one point. Vic calls Blood dog meat. And it's like, okay, well, you can obviously see that this would be something that would inspired the Fallout series of video games.
Yeah, I was going to get into that a little bit. But...
Yeah, Mad Max, I believe, is one of the main...
Yep, George Miller, especially the Road Warrior. George Miller said that this was a huge inspiration for the Road Warrior.
Yeah, and again, I chose this movie without knowing any of that because I just sort of figured this would be a fun little movie to watch. But as it turns out, this is a way more complicated and it has way more of a legacy than I thought it did initially.
Yeah. Was part of the reason you picked it because it was 2024 when it was set? Did you
Yeah,
know that much?
honestly. Yeah. No, I read
Okay.
that I looked it up and apparently it was 2024 and I thought that was so funny. And that
Yeah.
was like half of my basis for choosing it, which is like really interesting that how you can like make a decision like that and then stumble into a really interesting movie.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it's kind of interesting because Vic and Blood have this symbiotic relationship in the
Yeah.
worst possible way, where Blood finds women for Vic to rape in exchange for Vic finding food for Blood to eat. It's kind of this it's this really kind of fucked up dichotomy, so as soon as you watch this movie you realize, like, okay, these are not characters that you're supposed to like sympathize with in that sense. But
Hmm.
what I really think matters is if their journey is interesting, rather more than whether or not they're sympathetic. And like this very concept of like a guy telepathically talking to his dog, and then they give, you know food and rape exchanges. Like, this is very much a I've never really seen anything like this before.
Yeah, it's so divorced from what you would expect to see in a movie, especially around this time. Um, it's just it throws any sort of moral semblance out the window and just sort of says that nothing is off the table in this world. Um, anything can happen. Anything can be done. And it really it makes you wonder like how far these people would go.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things that come up. A lot of things that definitely inspired a lot of what we just spoke about earlier, Mad Max and Fallout. Just the idea of someone traveling with a dog companion through a nuclear wasteland. There's
Yeah.
the scene where he steals food from what looks like some sort of like wasteland raider king riding around on a chariot pulled by human slaves, which I thought was
Yeah.
really funny. I honestly thought I was going to see that guy again, but we like he shows up, he plays a pretty good like minor villain, and then he sort of disappears after Vic steals his food.
Yeah.
It really does feel like anything can happen.
For sure. It's kind of interesting too, because like even the locations in the movie, because there's really, I'd say, four locations that really stick out. One being the desert itself,
Yeah.
the other being the town that they go to, which is very Fallout inspired.
Oh
Or
yeah.
Fallout was very inspired by that. And then the underground bunker where they find what's her name in it?
I don't remember. Her name is
Quilla June.
Quilla
Okay,
June.
Quilla
Yeah.
June. Yeah, and then there's the underground area near the end where like all the people are staying, and
Yes.
that like that area he goes to at the end very much feels like the area that you start from in Fallout, where it's like the people living underground, and then you go out into the open space of the world. So it's kind of like a reverse Fallout in that regard.
Yeah, exactly. And in Fallout, you have situations where you'll find the vaults. You'll find other vaults and go down, and you'll find this strange microcosm of culture that has developed in isolation. And that's what this feels like. It feels like you're playing like an older Fallout game, and he just sort of wanders into this strange, isolated community that is surviving based on their own set of morals that they developed after everything had gone out the window, which is really, really cool to see.
Yeah. Actually, an analogy that I just thought of was just like it's kind of like watching somebody play Fallout if like they were like the most horrible, like
Yeah.
disgusting, like if it was like EDP doing a let's play of Fallout, it was basically what this would be.
Oh my God, yeah, it's like you're playing New Vegas and you turned on you got the cannibalism perk and you have every degenerate option available to you. And I guess probably low intelligence because Vic
Yeah.
is not a very smart person, very much acts on instinct. And that's
Yeah.
another
But
thing
I mean, it
is
also like something that you can gather from just the world that he lives in is that it's a very instinctual world where they're not. I mean, I guess they do have education, but only in certain areas where it's like not above ground, it's in the underground or something like that. And Vic being born, I guess, 18 years ago when the war happened 20 years ago, you can really tell that he himself is a product of this post-apocalyptic world. He wasn't in the world before it went to this level, so he doesn't have any sort of frame of reference, which is, I think that's an interesting take.
Yeah.
Because I feel like any nearly post-apocalyptic almost future thing would probably take the perspective of someone coming from, I guess, the 70s or maybe the 80s, and then seeing how far the world has gone, kind of like Mad Max or something. But I do kind of like the perspective of just having this protagonist character understand this world better than maybe the audience does because he lived there.
Yeah, exactly. And the big thing is that you get introduced to Vic, and he's doing these really horrible things just to start off. We have no frame of reference of what the world is like. And then when we're introduced to the world, we realize that Vic is not the outlier. He's not a bad person in this world. He's just a regular guy.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's basically how from what I understand, based on the world building, females in this world are scarce because they're basically used and abused and thrown out like trash, which is just what the world defaulted to whenever the bombs dropped, which is horrible. And but you sort of, once you're sort of in it, and you've watched for so long, you don't start to agree with anything they're saying, but you're very quickly desensitized to what exactly is happening.
Yeah, you see the perspective of what's going on, even though it's showing you how horrible the perspective is, and that's part of the commentary of the movie, obviously. But
yeah, exactly. Another thing is, I actually really liked the action in this movie. Was a lot better than I expected. When it started, it very much felt very low budget and B movie, which is basically what it is. I believe this movie was produced by L.Q. Jones with his studio, so it was an independent film.
It says the producer is Al V. Moore. But it was, I'm not sure if he did it himself. Oh, but it says production company LQ/Jaff Production, so you're probably right about that.
Yeah.
But it only had a $400,000 budget, which was, even in the 70s, that's not that huge of a movie.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, Don Johnson, who's playing Vic, is doing an amazing job. Even in that first short scene where he's stealing that food, or even even before that, right? The first scene we see with Vic, he's very physical, and he sort of acts like an animal. He's stalking that dude in the pit, and he's trying to take him out so he can find that female in the bunker that blood is sniffed out. And he acts like a trapped animal. And there's another scene later on down in another, I believe it's another bunker, and there's a big shootout with multiple raiders, and he's got this physicality to him where he's not a smart guy. Vic isn't very intelligent. He very much goes on instinct, as we said. But when the fight starts, he knows exactly how to handle himself. You could tell just by the acting. It's never really said, but you can tell just by how he's acting in these situations that he almost feels more comfortable in this conflict than sitting around and being at peace, like how you normally see the people in this underground society that we find later in the film. They're very much trying to act like an older, like 50s, 60s, maybe even 40s type American nuclear society. And he doesn't fit into that at all because he couldn't possibly understand what kind of life that is. He sort of thrives in this violence, which is funny because he's traveling with a literal dog who has more emotional and knowledgeable intelligence than he does. It's completely flipped.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's one of the stronger points of this movie is people, I guess, generally when they watch movies or something, they see a dog or just an animal as this representation of innocence, it's always like, oh, don't kill the dog in the movie and stuff like that. People care more if a dog dies than a
Yeah.
person dies usually in a movie. And to take that and then kind of make the dog this like wise ass like smart talking like dog who's like a
Yeah.
horrible person who's like helping Vic do these horrible things. It's really kind of a pretty funny dichotomy, and I actually I found like not all of the humor worked in this movie for me, which is just to say like
Yeah.
some lines just didn't really land that much, but just the chemistry between Vic and Blood I really think is what kept this going, at least for the first two acts, because Blood isn't really in the third act that much, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, but I think that for sure the best part of this movie is the relationship between Vic and Blood. There's just something about it that feels, because when we first meet them, they're very antagonistic towards each other,
Yeah.
fighting, bickering, basically like buddy cop stuff. And as the
Yeah.
film progresses, they sort of realize that they need each other in a very integral way. Vic's survival for his base needs and instincts relies on Blood, and Blood is not strong enough to get his own food, so he needs Vic. And it sort of starts off as a necessity, but they really do start to feel like they care for one another, which is something that you really don't expect in a movie with this sort of vibe. It's very much a fend for yourself type world, but even in all of that, with these two characters that don't really seem like they would thrive off of another person's affection, it almost seems like that is what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And I don't know about you, but watching like Blood and I thought the guy who did the voiceover did a really good job. I'm just gonna look at his name right now. Tim McIntyre. So yeah, he did a really good job. I don't know if you kind of picked up on this, but I prefer it so much whenever they're doing like a movie like this and they're doing a dog voiceover where they don't try to do lip sync movements.
Oh my god, yeah.
Because, to me, trying to match the lips up to what the dogs are actually saying or whatever animal is actually saying, that takes me out of the movie so much more than if they were just to do, this kind of Garfield style where, I mean, in this case, I guess it is sort of a telepathic thing where they have this telepathic connection, so they have an excuse for it. But even if they didn't, I would prefer they did it this way. Because it takes me out of the movie so much when they do a bad lip sync for a dog or something.
Yeah, and you really grow to like Vic. Honestly, you don't really care as much about as Blood, because Blood feels more emotionally relatable than the flesh and blood human being that's standing in front of us. Blood gets into in that shootout. They release an attack dog, and Blood has to have a fight with this dog. And that part, I was more worried about Blood than Vic, to be completely honest. I don't really care what happens to Vic, but and also the dog that they had playing Blood wasn't a great dog. I really appreciate good dog actors. This dog, apparently in that fight, the dog breaks its leg, and Blood hobbles along on three legs for the rest of the movie, and that's so cool. I don't even know how you train a dog to do that.
Yeah, I mean, the dog that they got was a very good choice. I mean, they did a really good, they did a really fantastic job and at just making it believable and everything like that. Believable in its own way, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
Because obviously there's a certain level of a suspension of disbelief with a movie like this, but it's not to the point where it breaks the immersion for me once you get past that initial suspension of disbelief.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, Vic essentially and Blood are going through the desert looking for he's looking for chicks, as he says, and Blood is Blood has a goal. Vic just wants to survive, but Blood wants to go over the hill where he heard that there was above ground colonies and everything was fine and there was food and farming, just like before the war. And so they're basically going through this, and Vic is I think they visit a cinema, which I think is so cool that they basically these people found a film projector, made a makeshift cinema in the middle of the desert, and charged people to go in to watch dirty movies. I think that's so funny.
What's even funnier is that L.Q. Jones was the actor in the porno movie, the director and writer. That was his only role in this, was being the actor in the porno movie.
Shut up! I had no idea.
He was very much in on the joke. And actually, this is a bit of a brief aside, but I just realized that Tim McIntyre is also the person who composed this movie, and I thought the music in the movie was really good.
Yeah, so. Yeah, well, let's talk about that right now, and we'll get back to the plot in a second. But the music really felt, it sort of has this quality where it lends itself to every scene that it's in, especially in the last scene with blood before the third act. I was honestly getting incredibly emotional, and I think the music really lent to that. Tim McIntyre, as it turns out, since I didn't know that he was the composer, apparently had a really good grasp on the vibe that he wanted the audience to grasp whenever a scene was going on.
Yeah, absolutely he did. I mean, because this is a movie where there's a lot of different, I guess, conflicting tones and things like that, and sure, sci-fi comedies probably existed before this, or like post-apocalyptic comedies. I don't know how many of them got this dark with the comedy. Yeah, the music that he chose and the voice that he chose for Blood, they both really, you can tell that he very much wanted to contribute to L.Q. Jones's vision, and he had a really good idea on what he needed to do to bring that to life. I mean, most of the people who worked on this movie are unfortunately passed away. But I want to give as much credit to most of them as possible, because they all did a really good job.
Yeah, especially with an independent movie like this, you really want to really see the people that worked on this, because it's obviously like a very inspiring sort of film to sort of go off in a different direction that isn't really done very often, and it obviously paid off considering how many things took inspiration from it.
Yeah, I mean, this is really all you could ever really ask for as someone who made a sci-fi movie. I mean, for other sci-fi properties in the future to really take this as inspiration and try to make their own spin on it, and a lot of which have done extremely successfully, like Mad Max and Fallout. I think that, this L.Q. Jones has a lot to be proud of with this one.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I think it's funny that he's the actor in that porno movie, because that makes this 2 movies where the director appears in the film as a character. Maybe not in the same way as our next film, but we'll talk about that when we get to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, Vic is at this cinema with Blood, and Blood immediately sniffs out a female, which is a really funny scene, because Blood is mad with Vic because he's not buying him popcorn. And he tells Vic that there's a female, and Vic basically has to suck up to him for a full 2 minutes before Blood tells him where the female is.
I hope the next time you play with yourself, you go blind. I wrote down that line from the movie because I thought it was funny.
Honestly, he's so funny. He's such a good comedic actor, or comedic presence on screen, because, I don't know, dogs are funny. Dogs are funny when they say swear words at you.
Yeah. But there's more to it than that. It's not just oh, dog said fuck kind of movie. It's a lot more clever than that.
But yeah, Vic follows this girl down into a bunker, and just as your protagonist and hero usually does, he just tries to rape her.
As you do.
Yeah, doesn't actually succeed. He does end up having consensual sex with her, which I think is a big plus for him. I wonder if that's ever happened to this guy. He doesn't seem like a romantic.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically, he saves her life from this band of raiders. They're being. This is another thing that they didn't really explain. While they're down in this bunker, they start hearing this moaning from within, and all the raiders run away and say that there's screamers down there. And we never really see what that is. And honestly, I kind of like that better than if they did show us, because you could go the Last of Us route and show us the big, scary, mutated monster, or you could save thousands of dollars on like expensive makeup and special effects, and just let the audience imagine what these horrible monsters look like. Because immediately they
Yeah.
go and they hole up and barricade themselves. I just thought that was a really nice touch, and I'm really glad that they didn't go ahead and show us what that looks like.
Yeah, sometimes less is more, and that was a situation where I felt less was definitely more.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, he and Quilla June, I believe, yeah, Quilla June have sex, and which is great for him because that's all he needed to keep moving. But then after a fight with Blood, she knocks him out and disappears, which sort of, again, his instincts tell him he needs to follow this girl because it's a girl and she likes him, and then maybe I won't. Honestly, at first it seems like maybe he cares about this girl, but after watching the movie, it really does seem like this girl is willing to stay with me and I can continue to have sex with her, is probably the extent of his relationship with Willa
Exactly.
June.
Because like I found kind of like some of the moments with them to be a little bit forced in terms of like how the sentimentality worked, but
Yeah.
she was trying to manipulate him to go back into the underground, and also from what we learned about Vic later on, we can kind of figure out that that was his intention all along. So I mean, it does kind of work. I mean, the sentimental moments don't work if you think that they're just supposed to be sentimental for the sake of it. But once you like add in that character kind of background that I wasn't really privy to when I first watched them, like it does kind of make sense, and I don't really consider that a criticism anymore.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Vic decides that he has to go, and Blood says he won't follow him down. And Vic says, well, I'm just going to have to go alone. And there's this really touching scene where Blood is basically like, you can't survive on your own, and you'll die down there. You need me. I need you. I need you to stay. I'll miss you. I won't be able to survive without you. And it really, Tim McIntyre does this amazing thing in this scene where there's a moment when he's talking when the anger sort of falls away, and it's like a begging and pleading for him to return. And honestly, I've seen like dramas and romances that handle this like heart-tugging drama less good than this $400,000 movie with a talking dog. That's probably my favorite scene in the movie, just because of how it affected me. I didn't really expect that to be so heartfelt.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting thing. I mean, I guess I could make a comparison to Moral Laurel or something like that, where it's like you see how horrible the characters are, but you still, for some reason, because the writing is so good in that moment, you actually do feel sympathy for them.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so Vic says that I'll come back. Just wait for me for a little while longer before you leave, and I'll be back. And Vic goes down, and that's the start of the third act. And I'll say right off the bat, I was really enjoying this movie. I do not think that the third act holds up nearly as well. There's some good stuff in here. There's some good concepts, and a lot of the characters are really funny. But I just don't think that it worked as well as what was happening on the surface with Vic and the Raiders and Blood.
Well, once I kind of realized that Blood was not going to be in the third act, I was kind of like a little bit skeptical going into it, because I figured, that kind of dynamic has been carrying the movie so far. And while I don't think the third act like completely drops the ball, because there is some stuff I like about it, I don't think it's as strong as the first two acts of the movie. I do agree with that. Like,
it really feels like they banked on this weird. I believe they said that the place was called Topeka, named after the city that it was under, which I thought was really funny. So while they're in this underground area, I feel like the filmmakers really banked on the fact that this weird community would sort of substitute that connection between Vic and Blood, but it really doesn't. It really gets rid of the heartfelt relationship between these two characters, which the movie's called A Boy and His Dog. like I was pretty hooked in and ready to follow these guys until I was expecting like maybe I was holding out till the very end, when they're on that grassy field and the committee is reading off people who are going to be sent to the farm. I was like, this is the moment. This is where Blood's going to show up. This is Blood. Blood's going to show up, but he never does, and I feel like it was a missed opportunity for Blood to appear, and it's a boy and his dog. Like, I guess I was just a little disappointed.
Like, I wonder if they just couldn't go take Blood to the place they were filming, or something like that. Like, it just kind of reeks like that. And I one thing I've said, or I don't know if I've said explicitly, but the sets in the movie I think are really good, and like you said, like the makeup is really good and like all that stuff. Like aesthetically it's very pleasing for a movie that's only like $400,000 in budget. But this underground layer where everybody just has like this white face paint, and it's like, okay, it just seems like they ran out of ideas for costume design or money or something like that, and like they went with like a very like, you know, teenager trying to play the Joker at a Halloween party.
kind of. And like I wish it went a little bit more crazy with it. I guess it's very much trying to be a satire of like contemporary American society, sort of showing like the darker side of it, because everyone acts very normal for that time, for like the 70s, but they're talking about like killing people, artificial insemination, but there's not really any good action after this point in the film, which I think is weird for a sci-fi dystopian. Like, there's no big action sequence. Like, I guess there is the chase with
there's a chase sequence
with Michael, the big android bodyguard for these people. But yeah, it just sort of. I think that there's some good parts. There's some good exploration of Vic. As soon as he comes down, he's knocked out, and they give him a bath right away. First thing they do is because he's filthy.
Yeah.
And he says, like, I need to get back up there. I need to get in the dirt and feel clean again. And I thought that was really interesting. Like, this really profound line in a movie that feels very silly at its core, where it's like, oh, yeah, this...
very eye of the beholder
exactly.
You know, perspective.
Yeah,
there.
like it's almost like a protective thing for Vic. Like, he doesn't feel safe down here. And I don't know, I thought that was really good. But I don't know. I felt like the ending sort of fell short. I guess not the ending, because the very...
Yeah, I want to get into... I have a lot to say about the ending, but this third act, it does definitely have some problems. There were some kind of things that I did like about it. There were moments I found funny, like when Quilla June knocks the people over the head with the flowers, and then it turns out there's a golf club in there. Like, I thought that was pretty funny. And even though the chase sequence is nothing to write home about, I did kind of find like the ending where they took out the robot to be pretty funny too. Yeah, it's actually it's kind of interesting because have you seen The Lobster, the Yorgos Lanthimos
I haven't,
movie?
But it's literally on my list because I just watched Killing of a Sacred Deer.
Nice, yeah, I like both those movies. I like The Lobster even more actually, but yeah, with The Lobster, like it's kind of like, I won't give away too much, but it is kind of doing this thing where it's like you see this futuristic society, and it's like it's a satire, but it has a message. And a lot of what I felt they were doing in this third act is something I've seen done in better movies. And the reason, like, I brought up The Lobster just because I watched it recently, but like I've seen this type of like, even go into like the 50s nostalgia kind of angle, or not even 50s, but like in terms of like Fallout or BioShock or something, it'd be much more 50s or 30s. But like, I guess just even like taking the idea of like, hey, let's look at our society from the future and then go back to it and compare it to what would happen if people were making, you know, the present out to be this wonderful, amazing time when even though the present has a lot of problems. Like, I felt they were kind of doing that a little bit. But I don't think that the movie really focused enough on that message for it to really leave an impact. It was just kind of like, oh, haha.
It didn't feel like it was still had a very like quick sense of humor. Again, with her Quilla June beating them over the head with the flowers, and the sense of humor from the first two acts is still there. I think that if Blood was here, it would be much better. To be completely honest, I feel like if
I do too.
I think that the content that is there is good. I just think that I think that I would have liked the first two acts just as much as the third if Blood wasn't in the movie at all. I think that's the thing, is Blood and Vic have this chemistry that was just missing from the latter half. But yeah, Vic. I guess we'll run through the plot of the third act real quick. We find out that Vic was lured down here to become like a mating stud, which of course he is fucking stoked about. Until they find out that they're just going to put a catheter into him and pull the stuff out. Which I will say the quick service weddings that they do with the women that are going to get his stuff. Where he's laid out and strapped onto a table while his stuff is being extracted, while their vows are being read, and I thought that was pretty funny. To be fair,
yeah, I like the church scene a lot. That whole church sequence was pretty funny.
But yeah, Quilla June apparently only lured him down here because she wanted a spot in the local government. They deny her that, so she says fuck it and tries to escape with him so that they can kill them, until eventually it just goes too far and she just says fuck it, we'll leave, we'll go back up, I'll hang out with you in Blood. And she says okay, and then they run away. They fight off the evil android bodyguard, and they escape back up to the surface, which comes, I think that's the last like 5 minutes of the movie, is the fake out that Blood might be gone, until you find out that Blood has been waiting. I don't know how long it had been, but he said that he was completely malnourished. So he must have been waiting for a long time, which again, it just reminds me how much I love Blood, because like, God, he's such a bro. Like I would ride or die for this dog. Like, holy shit.
So right before that, I was kind of like thinking, like, really, Blood couldn't find food himself, or like go to some other person in contact with him telepathically. But then again, we don't even know how he does that. So it was kind of like, I had kind of like an issue with the belief there. But then the ending. Okay, so I don't usually bring up my movie ratings, even though I do have like an IMDb and a Letterboxd. But I will bring it up this time because for the entire movie, my rating for it was kind of hovering around a 6, and the ending bumped it up to a 7 because I really loved that ending. It was so funny. All right, so basically what happens is like they think that Blood's going to die, and then Quilla June's like, it's okay, we can leave him. We'll just go and start our new life. We don't need him anymore. And then cuts to a little bit later, and it shows Vic and Blood walking away, and like they don't explicitly say, but they kind of imply through the dialogue that they killed her and fed her to Blood so that he would stay alive.
Oh, what an amazing way to end that movie. Oh, and then they just walk off into the sunset, and that's the end.
Yeah, the ending was my favorite part. I was going to bring that up because you said your favorite part, but I was like, okay, I'll say that. But that ending was my favorite part.
Oh, just such an amazing way. It almost feels nihilistic because it's so dark, but it really isn't. There's happy music playing, and it really does feel like Vic and Blood are going off to live the rest of their lives.
Yeah, in a weird way, they kind of learned how to appreciate each other, and even saying that after they just murdered and ate a woman is pretty hilarious.
And that's the thing, is if this movie was made in 2024 of this world, and there was some sort of morality in this society, that would be a perfectly normal film ending, I think. Is, oh, it's okay, because we killed her and ate her, so now we can go off and live our lives. Come on, Blood, let's go. And then they strut off into the sunset. Yeah, really, really, really funny. I'm glad I chose this, because I didn't know a whole lot about this.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about it either, and I'm really glad that you chose it too, because I'd never even heard the title before. Like, it didn't ring a bell at all. But kind of seeing where it came from and the influence it had on just pop culture in general, even though it was kind of like a small cult hit, it just kind of like makes me think, like, even in the future, like a movie like The Lobster, even, which just came out not too long ago, like we could see sci-fi inspired by that years down the road and like not even really be aware of it until Somebody recommends it on a podcast.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, I think that will do it for the discussion on A Boy and His Dog.
Actually, I do have one thing I want to say about this, and this has nothing to do with the movie, or at least nothing to do with the movie itself. But I went to watch this movie on Tubi.
Yes.
And for some reason, the Tubi version, it seems to be a direct rip of either the VHS or DVD because they still have the logo at the beginning. And it's also only in 480p quality. There are no subtitles. I was like, what the fuck? Like, it's usually not this bad of a transition onto Tubi. Like, they usually do a pretty good job. So I searched it up on YouTube and I found it in HD with subtitles. And it wasn't just a rip of the VHS or whatever. So if you're going to watch this movie, do not watch it on Tubi because I don't know what the fuck was going on, but that really sucked.
Yeah, I watched I think 30 minutes of it until me and Avery just decided we have to find this somewhere else because I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, I watched about 15 minutes of it. So I just want to make sure, like, if you're going to watch this movie, normally if it was on Tubi, I wouldn't recommend watching the YouTube version over it, but in this case I do because that's fucking bullshit.
Yeah, for real. Like, get your shit together, Tubi. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, this is the first time I've seen something like that's lower than 720p even.
Yeah.
And even then, it's usually 1080p on Tubi, from what I've seen.
Yeah, but yeah, check it out on that's where we watched it, is YouTube. So by all means, check this out. This movie, I would go as far. I can. It's not all of it is my cup of tea, but I wouldn't say this isn't some sort of classic, in some regard, considering the legacy that it left.
Oh yeah, this is a definitely underrated sci-fi movie, and like even though I would say it has some issues with its third act and maybe some of the humor not landing that well and some of the unexplained things like Albert, I'd still think that it is definitely worth watching, especially if you're a fan of like Fallout or Mad Max and you want to see where some of those ideas came from. But even without that context, it's a pretty damn good movie on its own.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've watched a really amazing movie here today, so it's time to ruin all of that. But before we do, how about we take
I wouldn't say it's an amazing movie, but it is compared to what we're about to talk about.
So how about we brace ourselves before we start our next discussion, and we'll come back after a quick break, and we will talk about your recommendation. So stay tuned. Okay, and welcome back. We've got ourselves all rested up. We've come to terms with what we're going to have to do here. Ian, what movie did you recommend me this month of our Lord?
I recommended the 2015 movie Dancin, It's On.
Dancin, It's On. What a great title.
I know, right?
Do you think that was their first title, or do you think they had to think about that one?
Well, see, the thing is, like, this movie stars a bunch of the people from Dancin' with the Stars or whatever or So You Think You Can Dance. So I think that they had to, like, we need to put Dance in the title, and then they'll see it from that TV show. So Dancin, It's On.
Dancin, it's on. It's such an amazing title. The poster for this movie is hilarious. I have no idea how you could possibly take this seriously. It stars Whitney Carson. I had to look up some of these people because the cast is almost entirely contestants, winners, and runner-ups from So You Think You Can Dance.
Yeah, there's no actors in this movie, which is a really good sign.
Zero.
It's a really good sign to start out of.
But the main girl, Whitney Carson, was also on Dancing with the Stars season 19, and her dance partner was Alfonso Ribeiro, which I thought was really funny. Like,
hey, he can dance.
Carlton, he can dance. But for real, like, I knew nothing about this when you recommended me this, and I'm a connoisseur of this type of horse shit. I'd never heard of this before. Where did you hear about this?
Oh, I'm trying to think. I must have heard about it around the time when it came out in 2015. God, I think I might have happened to stumble across the Cinema Snob's like worst movies of 2015 list, and this was like number one on his list. And I was like,
Yes.
you know, as soon as I heard the title, I'm like, okay, I'm pretty interested, but I never got around to watching it until now.
I don't know what I was really expecting when I got into this. I guess it's always bad whenever the first scene in a movie is like it's shot like a Hallmark original movie.
Yeah, that was the first thing that came to my mind too, was Hallmark.
Yeah, this is Hallmark for dancing. Okay, well, why don't you talk about what the plot is while I bring my notes up? Because fuck, man.
Okay, so this movie is about a girl named Jennifer who is coming to live in Florida on a summer holiday, I guess. And
yeah, what city?
Panama. Yeah.
Panama City, as the song that plays at the beginning constantly says.
Yeah. You could tell it's like they picked that city because they got the rights to use that song. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I have a lot to say about the music too, but basically, so she goes to her summer holiday to meet her father, who I guess hasn't been in her life, although that's kind of confusing considering how he acts throughout the movie, but get into that a little bit later. Yeah. And her father owns a hotel, and while she's at the hotel, she meets a dishwasher who she connects with through her dancing, even though everybody in the movie's dancing, but for some reason, his dances.
That's the thing, is everybody at this hotel dances, or does some sort of physical art. And it's like, it's so strange because her dad doesn't appear to have any interest in dancing.
Yeah.
Any he's basically like, every time we see this guy, first of all, the guy looks like Daddy Derek. Is the first thing I thought of. He's actually like a UFC or like a boxer. Actually, as it turns out, hold on. Yeah, he is Kenshiro in the American live-action Fist of the North Star movie, which I had no idea that he was in this, which was kind of fucking crazy. But yeah, he looks like Daddy Derek, and he has no interest in dancing, but for some reason his hotel is full of people who are always
I don't know if I agree. He looks like Daddy Derek. Maybe a little bit, but he looks like maybe Daddy Derek through rehab or something.
Daddy Derek went to the gym and finally got his shit together. Yeah.
Daddy Derek after he kicked the 420 awards.
Oh my god. But yeah, he doesn't have any interest in dancing or anything. So why is the hotel dancing themed?
It's hard to say. Like, okay, like if I feel even kind of ridiculous even suggesting ways that this movie could have done something better. But, you know, if they wanted to do the whole thing where like they fall in love through dancing with, I guess, oh fuck, what was the name of the dishwasher? Ken? Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So when they fall in love with it, like maybe if they had like a similar kind of dance that nobody else was doing, and they had that kind of bond, the movie doesn't really go into something like that. Like if we were supposed to like why did she fall in love with him because of his dance if like everybody's kind of dancing to the same choreography? It doesn't really. Yeah,
he's not like a much better dancer, and that's the thing is, there's not a single person in this movie who doesn't like dancing. It's like, when I was watching with Avery said that the dialogue in this movie sounds like there was an anime that had an English dub, and they took the script of that English dub, because that's how everyone talks to each other. It's a very it's like everything has been run through some sort of Google Translator.
And the main girl, what's her name? Whitney Carson. She was the worst. Like, she was like...
Oh my god.
She was so bad.
it's like I don't know how you like. There's people in this movie that I think could have done a better job than her, and there's no actors in this movie. So what does that say? Um,
Yeah.
there's yeah, she when she walks into the hotel at the very beginning, there's inexplicably there's two people cosplaying as characters from Gone with the Wind, and she walks up to them and goes, "Gone with the Wind, my favorite movie," and then walks away. And that's, but there's, I don't know why. Like, things will just happen to this girl, and nobody mentions why they're happening. Okay, yeah, I'm getting off track. So
That was a good
first,
tangent, and I also kind of wonder in like a movie where like this, where in the world everybody's dancing. In this world, is Gone with the Wind a dance musical? Because like everybody in this world dances anyway, or is that like kind of the equivalent of what a musical is in this world? It's like, oh, let's go see a movie where nobody's dancing and nobody's singing. Like, yeah, I always kind of like have that.
Gone with the Wind. Gone with the Wind is a musical. It's like a surrogate for a musical.
Yeah.
And then like Cats would be like Citizen Kane of this world because everything is related to dancing.
Yeah, there we go.
So also, I forgot to mention, there's so much to talk about. There's the first person she meets when she gets to this hotel is the captain, who is this strange mystical man who breakdances and gives wisdom, and that's all he does. Whenever the characters are having some sort of internal conflict, instead of like thinking about it, because they do that a lot. There's a lot of sitting on benches in this movie. I think they sat on every bench in Panama City.
Yeah.
They'll go to the captain and they'll say, "The captain, I am so upset right now," and he's like, "Don't worry about it." And then he does a little jig, and he pops and locks it. He's like, "Don't worry about it, believe in yourself." And it's like, "Thanks, the captain." And then they run away, and it's like, what the fuck are you even doing here? I don't even know who this guy was.
Yeah.
Russell Ferguson was his name, and he's a crump dancer from Boston, Massachusetts. I'll give you that. He was pretty good. He was a pretty good dancer.
Yeah, I mean, he was probably my favorite character in the movie just for how random he was and completely out of place from anything else that was going on.
He was always wearing these cheap, like, multicolored suits. And why is he called the captain? Like, he doesn't have and I'm starting to think that the captain controls everything. He must be the reason why everything is dance related, because like he just oozes that energy.
Yeah, you know what it kind of reminded me of? Remember those old like Game Dude like animation parodies? You know, it was like done in that like really crappy 3D model, and then at the end of every single episode, Game Dude would just like breakdance for no reason. Like that's what he reminded me of.
Oh my god, that's so right. Holy shit. But no, the captain doesn't do anything, I think, in this movie. This is all about Jennifer and Ken. Because I think the first thing that happens to her, like truly in the story, is she meets Ken at this party. And they dance, and they instantly fall in love. Because that is how you communicate everything in this film, is through dancing.
Yeah.
Because nobody cares about anything other than dancing in this movie.
Yeah, it's just dancing and no, that's about it. Dancing. I can't even think of anything else.
Yeah, I don't think they do anything else. They get into a food fight at some point, but I don't think they like that. Like why did they make this movie? Like, the guy who made this movie, what was his name?
Okay, so
David Winters.
Yep. So David Winters, this was the last movie he ever made. So his whole deal is that he was a famous dance choreographer who worked on Broadway a lot in his earlier years, and he worked on I think both the stage show and the theatrical version of West Side Story. He worked on the 1976 A Star Is Born as a choreographer. He has a very kind of storied history as a dance choreographer. And that's one thing I can say about this movie, and probably the only compliment I can give it, is that the dance choreography really isn't that bad. when they're like,
No, yeah.
when they're like dancing together, which I kind of expected because like they all were on So You Think You Can Dance and stuff like that. But that's literally the only kind of thing I can give it. And so eventually he started to direct and make his own movies. And I haven't seen any other one of his movies, but he's been directing movies since I guess like the late 70s.
Wow.
Yeah, so like he was directing for a while, and like I did kind of a cursory glance, and most of his movies do not have that great reviews, but I can't really comment on them specifically. But Dancin' It's On was the last movie he made. This was the last movie. This was the final message he wanted to get out to the general public. Before, because this movie came out in 2015 and he passed away in 2019.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Imagine this is your lasting legacy. You're part of all of these amazing. You're in West Side Story, and this is the legacy you want to live behind.
Yeah.
Like, I just like, okay, so essentially the film is a big soap opera. Once Jennifer and Ken meet each other, they're basically all lovey-dovey, and they go on a date. Again, they have a ice cream food fight with a bunch of extras that look like they came from a high school.
Well, I want to make a bit of a correction, and that is that this movie is a soap opera interrupted by dance montages, because it's like it's literally every 3 minutes it'll switch between being a dance montage or just a crappy dialogue scene. So
yeah, no, the dialogue is horrible. I've never seen people unable to act like this before. Me and you, Ian, we did a little bit of acting on our YouTube channel when we were in high school, and I feel like even us back then could have done better than this.
Oh yeah.
Like, everything is also every single line of dialogue is dubbed over. Like, 80 yard to hell. Like, and it's so awkward.
It's really awful line. ADR. Like, it really stands out. Like,
you sort of get lost in it, because this movie was making me go insane by the end, because I just didn't understand where anything was going.
Well, it's the thing. I actually did know where it was going in terms of like, oh, they're going to have a fight and they're going to go their separate ways, and then they're going to come back, and then, oh, their partners, they're going to compete against their old partners in the dance competition. Like, I figured it out. Let me just say. But
yeah,
like, I was just blindsided by like how they could take like the plot, which I knew how it was going to play out, and just make it as horrible as it turned out to be. Like, I was dumbfounded. Like, and I heard this movie was awful, but my God, I was not expecting this experience. This was like way more insane than I thought.
I don't know how they say so many words and say nothing at all. Like, okay, so let me back up. So the big rivalry, the everything seems fine until Danny. Danny is the manager, I guess, at the hotel. He's like the shift manager or the assistant supervisor or something. Yeah. He's always walking around wearing a polo shirt and khakis. He looks like he works at the Gap, and he is like head over heels for Jennifer. And apparently her dad is also head over heels for him, because he's like forcing Jennifer to go on dates with this guy Danny.
Yeah.
And she hates Danny for. Danny is an asshole in this movie. He's like conniving, and he's threatening to fire Ken over them dating. He's a bad guy, but like, she does not give him like an inch or any chance at all at the beginning. It's so funny. He's like, "Hey, welcome to dinner. Let's have fun." And she's like, "I will not have fun with you because my dad is making me see you. I hate you." And
the thing is, it's funny because you say these lines that she says, but I don't think it really conveys in the movie how she's smiling as she says every single one of these lines, because she can't take herself seriously, and I don't think she was given any direction from David Winters on how to perform, which is pretty funny.
I can only imagine, considering his background, that David Winters directed the dance numbers because they were, as you said, pretty good, and that's it. I can't imagine that he gave any like directing on dialogue, on anything else, because it just doesn't feel like there's anything happening behind the camera. It's just like they're reading their lines. That's it.
Sometimes it's like, it seems like, especially for Whitney Carson, she was probably looking at cue cards a lot of the time.
Yeah, no, for sure. There's and again, the whole thing with the dancing is like, since all of these actors are from dancing TV shows, I'm not gonna say actors. Since all these people in the movie are from dancing TV shows, they need to dance. That's their whole thing. Is everyone's got to dance. So there's a scene where, again, Jennifer is being forced to go on a date with Danny, and Danny's like, "Hey, look, there's a show going on over here. Let's go watch it." And up until this point, Danny's just sort of walked around in the background and talked to and threatened Ken vaguely. And Ken is dancing with all these people, and she's like, "Wow, his dancing is so good." And Danny goes, "Oh yeah, well, check this shit out." And he literally just jumps in and starts doing the same dance moves. Everyone knows the choreography.
Yeah.
And which is like, if it's a musical, that's one thing, because when you're watching a musical, there's an agreement that the audience has with the movie that this is a musical, and everyone will know the choreography to the dance numbers, because they're not supposed to be happening. They're a representation of the emotions that someone's going through.
Well, it's not really a musical though. It's more of just like, because like I would think of a musical as like they're conveying their emotions through song, but they aren't really. They're just kind of dancing.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. This isn't a musical, so there's no reason why they should all know the spontaneous choreography. Which I guess it sometimes a musical. Anyway, Ken and Jennifer get into a fight, and she's roaming the streets of Panama, going to all of the special the special shooting locations that they got permission from the Panama City Tourism Board to film at, and then a parade just appears on the street in the middle of the sad scene where she's sitting on a bench, and she's like, "Fuck yeah!" And then there's a full 4-minute long dance number in the middle of that, and just out of nowhere, and nobody talks about it after. And I do not know where David Winters had this dance number. He's like, I'll just put it right there, right in the middle of a very important dramatic scene, and it didn't resolve anything. It didn't, it wasn't like a dance, believe in yourself and you could accomplish anything. They're still mad at each other. Yeah,
and it's really kind of funny because when you're bringing that part up where they got into a fight or whatever, that might have been my favorite sequence in the movie from Ken's perspective, because what happens is before that scene, Ken goes to be with his dance partner, what's her name, Shotzi?
Yeah, Shotzi.
Yeah, so...
Shotzi, the girl with so much hairspray that her hair just looks like Lego hair.
So first he was on this kind of, I guess, date with Jennifer, and then he goes to, to his choreography with Shotzi, and then she starts asking him questions, and he says, I don't want to answer this. I'm going to go to the dishwasher job now because I have to do that. It's okay, well, you just went to the dance studio, so what were you, why did you do that if you had to go to the dishwashing job immediately after? And so then she goes to the dance studio, or no, he goes into the dishwasher job, sorry, and then Jennifer meets him at the dishwashing area, which is one of the few sets that they have on the movie, is this the dishwasher area. But so she says, and then she's just my dad's making me go on a date with what's his name? Danny. I just want to let you know I don't want to do it, but he's making me. And then he's just I'm so fucking pissed right now. So he goes back to his dance studio, and then he starts dancing again. He's like, I don't want to do this. I'm quitting the competition. And then he goes and he has this angry montage of him going to work out / dance around Florida. And it is the funniest thing ever, where he's doing angry push-ups. And he's and he's he's jumping over benches and he's kicking stuff over. He's doing this angry dance thing where it is the funniest thing ever.
He's by the pool at the hotel, and he's doing this crazy. The actor, the dancer who plays Ken, his big signature move is this like pirouette that he does, this big spin, and he's spinning, and then as he's spinning, you start hearing helicopter noises, and the old man that we haven't mentioned yet, the old man that lives in the hotel that's played by David Winters, has PTSD flashbacks to the war because he hears the Apache helicopter noises, but it's actually just Ken spinning so fast that he's making helicopter noises. And like I don't know what else you could possibly imagine that as.
Yeah, and it's like, how do you, I don't even know how I could make something like that up. It's just so ridiculous.
Like, and then you make helicopter noises, and then you.
Oh my god,
that was the moment where I felt like I was going insane. was that entire angry dance sequence from Ken was so ridiculous.
And over the girl going on a forced date that she didn't want to go on too. It's like, you know.
Yeah, like this isn't her fault.
Yeah, it's like it's, you know, you call like Danny an asshole, and yeah, he is, but I mean, Ken is this petty little bitch who's just like, you know, oh, this girl who I just met and went on one date with, you know, she's going on a date with another guy that she's forced to go on and is looking for emotional support. I'm going to get pissed off and dance around the city.
He's really, like, aggressive. One time he does something... I don't even... It might be the same scene, but she leaves, and he grabs one of the dishes that he's cleaning, and he just fucking smashes it on the floor.
Yeah.
Like, how have you not been fired from your dishwashing job? Also, apparently, he's not just a dishwasher. He's doing, like, everything. He's, like... The old man needs to have his bed sheets changed or whatever. Like, his bedpan emptied or whatever. Like, what is your job? Like, and her dad, Jennifer's dad, hates this guy for no reason.
Yeah.
Like, she's
like, I'm not having you washing or dating a dishwasher at my hotel. You know, you haven't been in my life at all, apparently, but I'm making the decisions for you.
Yeah, like, what? Also, apparently, again, he's like a boxer, but her mom is, I think, like a retired Playboy model or something. Like, it really just felt like they got at whoever they could for this movie.
Yeah.
Because, like, again, her dad and debatably her mom are the only actual actors here. And everyone else is just dancing through the movie. But yeah, basically, Jennifer is forced to date Danny, and eventually just sort of begrudgingly dating him. And Danny has this amazing scene where they're talking during rehearsal, where she sits down for a second. Danny's like, "Why are you sitting down? We gotta keep rehearsing. We gotta win the competition." And she's like, I know, I'm just tired. I just need to sit down. He's like, "Winning is all that matters." And it's like, what the fuck are you, dude? Like, why do you care about this so much? Like, it's not even that he hates Ken and he wants to beat Ken. It's just all about winning this dance competition.
Yeah.
Which is so funny considering how everything ends.
Yeah.
Like...
Well, it's kind of funny, too, because, like, I actually looked it up, and David Winters, I guess, was an actor in both the Broadway and the film version of West Side Story. And this plot is basically just West Side Story. This is just like, you know...
Just again?
Yeah, it's like he just... For his last movie, all he wanted to do was just do the movie that made him the most famous, other than maybe his choreography for Elvis, because he worked with Elvis, who also appears in the movie as a wax statue, and they're just like, Elvis! So that was him kind of jerking himself off a little bit.
Oh my god. Like, I think that was a pretty good time to talk about this old man, because he's sort of introduced as this really horrible guy who treats Ken terribly. And also, Ken is an orphan, I guess, because of course he is, because you can't have, like, a movie where, like, somebody is just, like, why is he an orphan? Like, the only reason he's an orphan is so that he can get a new dad at the end, which is such a strange decision from David Winters to be like, okay, you will fall in love with this girl, and also you will become my son by the end of this movie. So David Winters is a guy an old man who lives in the hotel and acts really shitty to everybody. But he's got a framed picture of his son in like Afghanistan or something, and he was killed. And because of that, he stopped dancing because he was a famous choreographer. He's basically playing himself, um, like a fictionalized version of himself in the movie, and
Yeah.
to the point where at the end of the movie they're like, and everybody give it up for David Winters, and everyone's gives him a standing ovation. Like, it just feels like he's jerking himself off with this character, where he's like, they ask him to be the choreographer for their bit, Ken and Scott and Shotzi, and he's basically like the Mr. Miyagi of dancing. He's like, you do this, I eat my sandwich. Like, he's...
Was it Ken and Shotzi? I thought it was Jennifer and Ken.
Oh, at the
Oh,
end,
yeah.
Because
right.
basically, he tells Ken that he's shitty and he will never be good because he's not trying hard enough. But that's because his real partner is Jennifer, and like, it's so incredibly cheesy. I will be the first to say, I love cheesy romantic shit. I'm a big sap. I'm a big romantic. This was too much. It was disgusting. Like nobody talks like this to anyone. If anyone talks like this to me, I would be horrified.
Yeah, and let me just put it this way: we're both Canadian, and this was too much syrup. Like, this was...
yeah, for real, too much. Like, I'm already diabetic. You're gonna kill me with this shit.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny. Like, I love the way that David Winters like played his character in this, because like you could tell he had like this attitude of like, I'm a hard ass, but I'm gonna be on you, and I'm gonna make you do great things. And the product that he made was this movie. So.
Yeah, exactly. And even within the movie, their dance is just a normal dance. It's nothing too crazy or anything.
Yeah.
Like, it's just... it's like... I don't understand what he was like.
Exactly. Like
he just wanted to...
Like, that final dance performance, did they really improve from the angry dance that they did, or the dance that they did at the lobby at the beginning?
Nobody improves in this whole movie. Nobody, like, everyone just sort of gets what they want by the end.
Yeah.
And that's what we should probably talk about, is the end of the movie, which is the dance competition. Which we start the dance competition with two completely unrelated dance numbers that from characters we haven't seen before.
Yeah.
Which I can only assume are just more Dancing with the Stars contestants.
Oh, probably.
Yeah, and there was like, oh, let's squeeze these in too.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. These people didn't have anything to do with the plot. Why show these two dance numbers?
Yeah, well, I think, it's just because he was more interested in making a dance music video than a movie, but for some reason he turned this into a movie.
Yeah, there's no reason for this to be a movie, because, like, if you want to choreograph dances, then there's lots of ways to do that. You can make not a movie. Like, you can't just put all the narrative and characters and everything aside for cool dances, like b-boy crump dances. Like, you can't substitute plot for ass shaking. Like, it just does not work like that.
Yeah, it's just... Anyway, I guess after that happens, surprise, surprise, Ken and Jenny win the competition, and that's basically that. Like, they get together, they win the competition. Jenny's parents are proud of them, and I don't know if they were implying that their parents got together again at the end because they were sitting next to each other in the audience, and then
like, well, what does that mean? Why was her mom even there?
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
even think they brought that up.
No.
Her mom lives on like the other side of the country.
Yeah, her mom lived in California, from what I remember.
And she showed up for what, like a dance competition held at this local hotel? Like, I just...
That was owned by her ex-husband?
Yeah! All the more reason to stay on the other side of the fucking country.
Yeah.
Oh my god, so, sorry, I'm going back again. But there's an amazing scene with the dad and Ken where Ken is still trying to date Jennifer, but the dad invites him up to his gym while he's hitting a punching bag, and it's supposed to be like an intimidating thing, but it was just the tension was so thick. Like it was like he was trying to show off to this young lower class man, show how strong he is. But this guy looks like he's like in his like 50s.
Yeah.
He's falling apart.
He's trying to prove to Discount Taylor Lautner that he can beat him up. And it's...
He is Discount Taylor Lautner.
Well, that's kind of funny because you brought up the Daddy Derek thing, and it's like there's a few other people in this movie. It's like Danny just looks like a Discount Adam Scott to me, and like the captain.
I thought that
Captain looked like Discount Snoop Dogg to me too. But anyway,
it's Discount. I was gonna say Discount Tebow from iCarly.
Oh, that too. That's actually probably more accurate.
Yeah. But yeah, like they win the competition, and I think it just ends, and that's it. And I guess that they live happily ever after. And again, I
love the last shot too, where it's like they're in a heart locket. It was just so cheesy. Like you could not ask for a cheesier.
Like it really felt AI generated, which is like very obviously it wasn't. Someone had to work on this.
Yeah.
Someone had to film
God,
this.
I wrote that in my notes. It's like if this didn't come out in 2015, I feel like ChatGPT would have wrote this movie. Like it's not. I'm not even kidding.
No, for sure. For sure. Like, there's no surprises. There's even, like, this moment. Oh, yeah, I should also mention, Danny talks about, oh, I need to win. They gotta win. And then they do their dance, and they go back, and it's like, we're so gonna win. And then, in the middle of Jen and Ken's dance, they're looking at the sides of the, from like, the wings. And Danny goes, they're gonna win. And you know what? They deserve it. And it's like, what the fuck? Where went all your motivation? Are you upset about this? Are you happy about this? Everyone's just sort of like okay with it.
Yeah.
Like Danny hated this guy. He's like, you know what? It's what they deserve.
Yeah.
Like where did your character development go? Like what? Like anything? A little bit. Like show me a little bit of this.
Yeah, I love all the scenes with Danny and Shotzi together because like there's this one scene earlier on where like Ken and Jenny are on their date and then they're just like, oh, I have a plan that'll get them away from each other, and then all the plan is they go up to him and it's just like, hey, let's go back to my dance studio so we can practice. It's like this.
So devious.
Yeah.
Dave Winters is like, oh, they'll have a cunning plan. And the cunning plan is, oh, we had plans. Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, exactly. That's like the cunning plan. That's the type of cunning plan Baldric would come up with on Blackadder. It's like, I have a cunning plan, sir. Like, it's that.
Oh, but yeah. Oh, also, while I was watching the credits, I realized that Dave Winters had 3 separate assistants and an on-set barber. Man is bald.
I guess it was for his beard?
I guess.
For beard consistency?
Like what? He was barely in the movie. Why did his beard need to look good?
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sure he's an amazingly talented dancer. He does have a bit of a dance number.
Yeah, he does. And for somebody like within his like last few years of life, he did that pretty well. I'll give him that.
Yeah, I'll give him that. Yeah, he started his stuff. And again, the dancing is fine. The dancing is good. He should have stuck to that.
Yeah.
More than he did, because everything else he is just not gifted in. He thinks that he could write dialogue and make characters interesting, but it's just not there. Everything falls so short.
Exactly. He should have put the cast through, instead of So You Think You Can Dance, he should have hosted So You Think You Can Act, and then he would have gotten like these people would have been laughed out on the first fucking day. These would be like American Idol, like the first people you see who don't even make it past auditions. That would be
the only good part of American Idol.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, well, David Winters, I know somewhere you're really pissed off that we're making fun of your movie. I'm sure you thought that it was a really great flick and you had a really creative vision, but I think I literally could have wrote this movie with my ass in my sleep on drugs.
Yeah. This movie is Dancin', It's on Your Grave. I don't know.
I'm dancing, and it's on your. Yeah, you got it. I went down the same road as you did, and I arrived at the same place, and I was fucking surprised about that.
Okay, but I do want to talk about the music really quickly.
Yeah.
So the music in this movie that they used for these dance sequences, because we've praised, the actual dancing itself as being pretty good. The music that they use is fucking horrible. Like, it's just like...
Oh my god.
Like, it's like the most generic... Well, actually, it's not generic. The sound of it is generic. Like, it's like sort of bubblegum pop, like really shitty, like modern pop things. But, like, did you listen to the lyrics on some of these songs?
Yes!
Because I just wrote down, like, the one where Ken runs to Jenny. I wrote this down, and this was in the lyrics. Just to prove I love you, I'd even try being a lesbian. I'd sleep with a snake in my bed. I'd hold hands with another man. That's what they actually fucking said.
What? I remember I had to pause. I was looked at Avery like, are you kidding me with this song? Who wrote this?
Yeah.
I need to know.
Actually, well...
why did you choose this song?
Music was by Misha Segal.
Go to hell. What is this fucking music?
Apparently she's Israeli, so I don't know, maybe English isn't her first language or something, and I don't know, she probably, I don't know, get a better lyricist, please. And actually just do a better compositions in general, because those were awful.
You know what? Why don't we just scrap the whole fucking thing and maybe don't make the movie?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that probably might be the best option, because if we're really going back that far, I don't think any fucking song, I don't care what fucking a Grammy Award nominated artist you're gonna get to make the tracks for this fucking movie, it's not gonna be worth it.
I'm looking at his filmography. Apparently he did the music for Human Centipede 3. Okay, that's weird.
That's random. What the shit?
So yeah, he's done... I mean, he's been doing music since like 1984, at least for film compositions, but it's like Ninja 3, The Domination, Young Lady Chatterley 2. I'm sure these are wonderful movies just based off the titles. But
oh my god.
Yeah.
Well.
There's
yeah.
Dancin', It's on. So at the end of all this,
it's on.
Would you say that this is the type of bad movie that people should go out and see for themselves, or would you just say it's too painful and you want to avoid it?
Yes, 100%. Listen, you've heard me talk shit on this movie for so long now. Yes, 100 times yes. Watch this movie. You can't. The so bad it's good genre very much did like blow up after like the early to late 2010s. Like a lot of movies are really shooting for that. I find is trying to be bad. I remember when Birdemic 2 came out. People, you can't manufacture this kind of garbage.
Yeah.
That's the thing is you need to have somebody who is one very passionate and about what they're making. David Winters is clearly someone who cares a lot about dancing and choreography, and it really shows through the dancing scenes. You also, the second thing is you need to be completely creatively inept and not know what the fuck you're doing. And that is a perfect recipe for a so bad it's good movie. 100% go watch this movie.
Yeah, it is a special kind of awful, and this is probably, I don't know, right up there with like The Room, Saving Christmas, Ben and Arthur, fucking Troll 2, like all Plan 9. Like this is up there with some of my favorite so bad it's good movies, and it's just, I was laughing throughout the whole thing. Like I could not believe, and if like, because like this movie doesn't have a whole lot of people who have seen it, but if you're really into those, like these type of cult movies, then yeah, Dancin', It's on is yeah, just make sure it is on. Put it on.
Yeah. Don't turn it off.
Yeah.
Dancin', turn it on.
Yeah. I also loved in the ending, I forgot to mention this, but like when Ken and Jennifer are accepting the award, they're like, oh yeah, we can't forget about Hal Sanders, and then David Winters comes onto the stage and says like, oh, I will accept the only award that will ever be related to this movie. I don't know. There's just I don't even think we've covered everything. Like, there's so many funny scenes.
No,
and,
yeah.
like,
Yeah, no, I wouldn't dare take this away from you. If you're listening to this right now, go watch this movie. This one isn't fucked up on Tubi, and you can watch it for free with ads.
Yeah,
go right
exactly.
now. That's your mission for this month.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I guess your mission for this month is probably to watch the next couple of movies we talk about.
That's true, and that was a good transition.
Yeah, I'm getting pretty good at this, I think.
Yeah, for sure. So,
all right.
So for our next episode, we're going to have a guest on, and that guest is Jason from the YouTube channel Jason Entertainment. Jason! Jason!
Jason! Jason!
Yeah. It's the same Jason from Heavy Rain, probably.
Yep.
But yeah, so he recommended a movie, and we're going to do 2 movie recommendations next time, but he recommended a movie, and then Nathan also gave me the opportunity to recommend a movie. I gave him the choice, but he gave it to me, and I thank him for that. He can do it next time we have a guest. So, the movie from Jason... I'm gonna have to do that every time now. But the movie.
Oh my god, that's gonna be a great episode. Jesus.
Yeah. So the movie that he recommended is a movie that I've heard of. I haven't seen. It's an animated movie from 1995 called Balto.
Balto. I've heard of this.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I think it's about sled dogs, and it's starring Kevin Bacon, and that's about all I know.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Let's do it. Yeah. Okay. Balto. Sweet.
Okay. And then the movie recommendation that I chose for next time, this month Nathan recommended a movie where 2024 was kind of like a part of the experience. And so I figured that I'll recommend a movie where it's also related to the year 2024. But this is a little bit different because the way that it's related to the title this time is that 2024 marks this movie's 100th year anniversary.
Oh, shit.
And so my movie recommendation for next time from 1924 is Sherlock Jr., directed by, written by, and starring Buster Keaton.
Sherlock Jr.?
Yeah, it's our first silent movie. So have you ever heard of this one?
I don't think I have, no.
Oh, okay. Well, I won't say anything about it, but I'm excited to talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, it looks like we got some great movies coming up. I'm excited to have Jason on. And you should be excited too, because this is going to be a great episode, just like this one, hopefully.
Yeah. I can just tell by the way we talked about these movies that I think that this one turned out pretty good.
Yeah. All right, do your YouTube thing.
If you'd like to donate to the channel, follow the links in the video description to donate on Patreon or PayPal, or send us money via Super Chats. Or on any of the videos, you can join our memberships, and that will help you see new videos early. Like this video that I have right now, which is... Oh, actually, it'll be out by the time the podcast is out, but... it's a new entry in the Game Dude blog. You can also join our Discord server. You can talk to me, you can talk to Nathan, you can talk to all the other cool people who are there. You're Finally Home, who was on our previous episode, and others. And if you would like... So everything else you have to do, but this is only if you like to do it. No. Okay. But if you do feel so inclined, you can comment, you can subscribe, you can share, you can... I don't know what else you can do. I don't know. Probably
if you're listening on Spotify, you can follow it.
Oh yeah, you can watch it on... You listen to it on Spotify. And if you're listening on Spotify, did you know that we have a YouTube channel?
What? Ian, tell me more.
Oh. Okay, fine. Be that way. That's
the name of the channel.
Yeah, that wasn't me being sassy. I mean, it was me being sassy, but it was me being sassy when I named the channel.
Like 13 years ago, I think.
Oh, it would have been longer than that. It would have been
maybe
2006 or something, I think, is when I joined the channel. So yeah, it's like almost 20 years. Damn.
Oh, God. Sometimes I just think I'm in my 20s. Shit.
I mean, we are in our 20s. At least for now.
I know.
But that's ending this year. For both of us.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Don't even talk about that. Kids, make the best of your life or you'll end up fucking recording a podcast.
Yeah, make smart decisions like watching Dancin' It's On. And
Yes, watch Dancin' It's On. Maybe you will become a dancer and be inspired.
yeah. So you think you can dance.
You can.
You can.
If you want to.
You can dance if you want to. You can leave your friends behind. If your friends don't dance, and if they don't dance, then they're no friends of mine. Anyway, I think we're done.
Yeah, I think when we start singing, we're done. So,
Okay.
Just signing off. I'm Nathan.
Yeah, I'm Ian, and this is Dancin' It's Off.
See you guys next time.
Adios.